They were once untouchable. Global icons, symbols of power, progress, and prestige. But in 2025, something has shifted. Behind the glossy branding and billion-dollar valuations, cracks are forming. Deep, dangerous, and in some cases, irreversible. While the world watches tech trends and market charts, few realize what's truly happening. Some of the most legendary American companies are sliding toward the edge. Bankruptcies loom, layoffs intensify, stocks plummet, and consumer trust? Evaporating. From the supermarkets that fed generations, to the streaming platforms that reshaped entertainment, from the soda that defined global taste, to the tech vision that promised a virtual utopia, none are safe. They're bleeding relevance, innovation, and, in many cases, cash. What went wrong? Is it bad leadership, market disruption, greed, or simply the inevitable collapse of outdated empires in a world that never stops evolving? This video isn't just a list, it's a wake-up call. We're about to take you deep inside the decline of 10 huge American companies collapsing in 2025, one by one. These aren't obscure brands. These are household names, titans of yesterday who may not survive tomorrow. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you won't just see which companies are falling, you'll understand why and what that means for the future of America itself. Let's begin. Number 1. Walmart, the shelf king in peril. Once hailed as the indomitable titan of American retail, Walmart now stands at a crossroads where size becomes a burden. The company that revolutionized low-cost shopping is quietly bleeding from wounds that no discount can fix. Inflation is eating into its razor-thin profit margins, and the rise of online competition is no longer a slow crawl. It's a full-blown sprint. Walmart's slow adaptation to e-commerce compared to Amazon's lightning-fast dominance is showing. Their logistics may be massive, but they're clunky in the digital age. Physical stores, once the fortress, have become liabilities in an era where foot traffic is replaced by clicks and deliveries. Meanwhile, their investments in automation and robotics have yet to pay off meaningfully, leading to internal friction and employee unrest. Even internationally, Walmart's footprint is shrinking. Failed expansions in the UK and South Korea haunt its global strategy. And with changing consumer habits leaning toward ethical, sustainable, and personalized shopping, Walmart's bulk-based, low-cost model feels increasingly outdated. Investors are worried. Sales are flatlining. The future Walmart built its empire on has moved on. Unless a radical reinvention takes place, the retail king may soon become a cautionary tale in business textbooks. Number 2. Netflix, streaming on hold. Netflix once disrupted Hollywood. Today, it's struggling not to be disrupted itself. The platform that changed how the world consumes entertainment is now tangled in a web of content fatigue, rising costs, and fierce competition. Subscriber growth is stalling. Saturated markets in North America and Europe no longer offer exponential returns. Emerging markets are harder to monetize, and password-sharing crackdowns have sparked backlash more than revenue. What was once seen as a friendly, convenient service now feels controlling and corporate. Worse, its original content strategy is beginning to implode. Budgets in the billions have failed to yield lasting franchises. Shows come and go, often canceled after a single season, leaving audiences disillusioned and disconnected. Meanwhile, Disney+, Amazon Prime, and even Apple TV+ are clawing away loyal viewers with more consistent offerings. Behind the scenes, debt is mounting. Netflix has poured endless funds into content creation, but revenue hasn't scaled in proportion. The streaming bubble looks dangerously close to popping. In a world where consumer choice is limitless, Netflix's appeal is fading. Unless Netflix reinvents its core identity, and fast, it could go from category king to just another ghost in the machine. Number 3. Coca-Cola, more bubbles than growth. Coca-Cola is arguably the most iconic beverage brand in the world, but its sugary dominance is beginning to turn flat. In a world increasingly driven by health consciousness, sustainability, and innovation, Coca-Cola seems trapped in its own legacy. Sales are sluggish, especially among younger generations who view soda not as a treat, but a threat. The pivot to low-sugar alternatives has been sluggish, and rivals are beating Coca-Cola at its own game with healthier, trendier options. Brands like La Croix, Celsius, and even kombucha startups are siphoning off market share that once seemed untouchable. Then comes the environmental pressure. Coca-Cola is the world's largest plastic polluter, a label no company wants in the era of ESG scrutiny. Despite lofty promises, progress has been minimal, and consumers are taking note. Culturally, Coca-Cola's once unshakable presence in global advertising is losing relevance. A younger, more cynical audience isn't buying the nostalgia or the legacy branding. They want transparency, authenticity, and bold moves, none of which Coca-Cola has consistently delivered. The empire built on carbonated sugar water is being outpaced by innovation, and unless it starts bubbling with new ideas, Coca-Cola could end up as a relic of a less conscious past. Number 4. Nike. The swoosh that may fall. Nike, the emblem of athletic power and pop culture cool, is now grappling with a changing tide that could wipe away decades of dominance. Its swoosh still shines, but cracks are beginning to show beneath the surface. Rising production costs in Asia, ongoing labor controversies, and supply chain disruptions have all taken a toll. But perhaps the biggest threat comes from within: Nike's over-reliance on hype culture. Limited drops and influencer-driven marketing have created an exclusivity bubble that's beginning to burst. Consumers are increasingly favoring brands that prioritize ethics, sustainability, and transparency over prestige. New players like Allbirds, On Running, and regional direct-to-consumer startups are offering stylish, eco-conscious alternatives that resonate with Gen Z. Nike, in comparison, is still playing the 2010s game. Meanwhile, the global sneaker resale market is inflating expectations and alienating core customers. Nike's own move to pull back from third-party retailers has backfired, reducing its accessibility while amplifying logistical strain on its direct sales platforms. The brand's reliance on celebrity partnerships and nostalgia can't carry it forever. If Nike doesn't shift from style to substance soon, the swoosh could start looking like a symbol of a golden age that's slipping away. Number 5. General Electric. The crumbling industrial empire. General Electric was once a symbol of American industrial strength. Today, it's more like a ghost in the machine. Once mighty, now wandering through the ruins of its own complexity. The conglomerate model that made GE a household name is the same one that now threatens its extinction. Years of mismanagement, over-diversification, and financial engineering have left GE's balance sheets riddled with problems. Divisions that once fueled growth, like power, aviation, and healthcare, have been sold off, spun out, or gutted. What's left is a company scrambling to find its purpose in the 21st century. GE's stock, once a safe bet, has become a volatile gamble. Leadership turnover, SEC investigations, and underperforming assets have eroded investor confidence. Even its historic dividend was slashed to near zero. And in today's rapidly digitizing world, GE has struggled to keep pace. Its efforts to rebrand as a digital industrial player fell flat, overshadowed by tech-savvy competitors with leaner models and sharper visions. GE was once the blueprint for American corporate excellence. Now, it's a case study in how empires fall not from a single blow, but from 1,000 small failures. The empire is crumbling, and no amount of rebranding may save it. Number 6. Coach. Luxury losing its luster. Coach once defined American luxury, a perfect blend of class, affordability, and prestige. But the very word luxury is changing, and Coach is struggling to keep up. In a world where image is everything, Coach is beginning to look like yesterday's brand. Millennials and Gen Z aren't flocking to Coach like previous generations did. They see it as middle market, too expensive to be casual, too common to be elite. The magic is fading. Even deep discounts and flashy collaborations haven't revived its appeal. Competition is also brutal. New luxury disruptors like Telfar and JW Pei are capturing hearts with minimalist designs and strong cultural narratives. Meanwhile, European giants like Louis Vuitton and Gucci have surged ahead in innovation, branding, and relevance. Coach has tried rebranding, dropping new lines, updating logos, revamping stores, but the shift has been hesitant and unclear. Without a bold, cohesive identity, Coach is becoming invisible in a space where visibility is everything. Luxury today isn't just about products, it's about stories, sustainability, and experience. Coach still sells leather. The market wants legacy. If it doesn't evolve, Coach may soon be remembered more for its outlet shelves than for its prestige. Number 7. Meta, when the metaverse becomes a black hole. Meta was supposed to be the future. Instead, it's becoming the biggest tech miscalculation of the decade. What began as Facebook's reinvention has quickly devolved into a cautionary tale of ambition outpacing reality. Billions of dollars have been sunk into the metaverse, an idea still too abstract for most people to care about. Headsets are clunky, virtual spaces are empty, and users aren't sold on a digital life where avatars replace authentic experience. Meanwhile, the core business, Facebook and Instagram, is suffering. User trust has plummeted due to privacy scandals, algorithm backlash, and rising toxicity. Ad revenue is declining as brands shift toward newer, fresher platforms like TikTok. Internally, Meta is stretched thin, talent is leaving, morale is low, and CEO Mark Zuckerberg's all-in bet on the metaverse has alienated investors and employees alike. The dream of a fully immersive virtual future is colliding with the harsh reality of slow adoption and regulatory scrutiny. Meta may not vanish overnight, but if it continues to pour resources into a vision few understand or want, it could become a digital black hole, consuming billions while delivering very little. Number 8. AT&T, the network that goes offline. AT&T, once the juggernaut of American telecommunications, is now a company lost in its own static. Despite owning vast infrastructure, it's become a symbol of corporate confusion and strategic misfires. From failed acquisitions like DirecTV to the short-lived Warner Media experiment, AT&T has repeatedly tried and failed to reinvent itself beyond its core business. These ventures have drained resources, blurred focus, and left the company saddled with colossal debt. Customer satisfaction has plummeted. Prices are high, service is often spotty, and innovation lags behind competitors like T-Mobile and Verizon. Even 5G, the supposed savior, has been rolled out with more hype than actual benefit. Meanwhile, a new threat looms: big tech. Companies like Amazon and SpaceX are building their own satellite networks, threatening to disrupt the traditional telecom monopoly from above. AT&T's legacy infrastructure could quickly become obsolete. AT&T is not just struggling to grow, it's struggling to stay relevant. The signal is fading, and if it doesn't refocus on its core strengths, streamline its operations, and regain customer trust, the network may go offline permanently. Number 9. Paramount Global, the studio that lacks a story. Paramount was once a Hollywood powerhouse. Now it's a fading marquee in an industry that moves faster than its scripts. With the streaming wars reshaping entertainment, Paramount Global is struggling to find its role, let alone its audience. Its streaming service, Paramount Plus, lags far behind giants like Netflix and Disney Plus. Despite a strong legacy catalog, it lacks the original hits that create loyalty and buzz. Meanwhile, its reliance on legacy brands like Star Trek and SpongeBob can't mask the absence of new creative IP. In the broader business, traditional TV assets like CBS are declining rapidly in both viewership and ad revenue. The cord-cutting revolution is dismantling the very foundation of Paramount's media empire. Leadership has changed, strategies have pivoted, but clarity remains elusive. The company seems stuck between trying to protect its past and chase a future it doesn't fully understand. Paramount Global needs a bold narrative, a new reason for audiences and investors to care. Without it, this once mighty studio may soon be nothing more than a footnote in entertainment history. Number 10. Uber, the race to ruin. Uber was once the golden child of Silicon Valley, synonymous with disruption, speed, and tech-driven transformation. Today, it's caught in a dangerous tailspin of losses, regulation, and a business model that still doesn't quite work. For all its global reach, Uber has yet to turn consistent profits. Its model, built on subsidizing rides and underpaying drivers, is facing fierce legal scrutiny around the world. Court battles over driver classification, wage laws, and safety regulations threaten to unravel its core operations. Meanwhile, rider costs have surged. What was once cheaper than a taxi is now often more expensive, pushing users away. Driver dissatisfaction is at an all-time high, and competition from local ride-sharing platforms and public transit is rising. Even Uber's expansion into delivery services hasn't saved the day. Uber Eats faces intense competition and shrinking margins, and its ambitions in autonomous vehicles and flying taxis still far from reality. Uber is running out of time, money, and patience. The road that once seemed endless is narrowing fast. If the company can't prove it can truly be profitable without exploitation or fantasy, the ride may soon be over, for good.